Now normally on a day like this, I would be cursing my stars because Bert is at the BIC driving the new CLA 45 AMG and Rohit is in Germany driving another sports car while I am stuck here in Bombay. But I'm not complaining because I think my ride for the day has just arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in India, exclusively for OVERDRIVE, Porsche's baby SUV, the Macan. Not such a bad day after all, is it? Like the Cayenne is based on the Audi Q7's underpinnings, the Macan gets its foundation from the Q5. But that's where all semblances end, because every bit of the Macan shouts out that it belongs to the 16-time Le Mans winning constructor in heritage, function and form. Different Porsche sports car icons from over the years have lent it bits and pieces, the various design elements, characteristic lines and contours nod towards the designs of the Le Mans winning 917, the new 911 and the fabulous 918 Spider. It's only logical then that the coefficient of drag for the Macan is as low as 0.35, which is a bit of an anomaly for a 1.8 ton mammoth. And despite its SUV-like ground clearance, the proportions, true to Porsche's new design DNA, gives the impression of it sitting low and broad. Now unlike the Cayenne where the curves belie its dimensions, the Macan looks more in harmony with its dual personality. Now the moment you get inside and you slot yourselves in these very snug seats, the first thing that you'll realize is that you're sitting quite low for an SUV. The next thing you get is a sense of deja vu, and a pleasant one at that, because you recognize these bits and pieces from Porsche sports cars. For instance, this 3-dial instrument cluster that is reminiscent of the 911 and the Cayman S and of course the Boxster as well. The steering wheel looks like it's come off the 918 Spider, and even the center console debuted way back in the Carrera GT when it was launched. Now everything about this driver-centric cabin gives you the sense that you're cocooned in a Porsche sports car. There's been a change in approach for Porsche in India. Instead of having their customers tick all the option boxes, which most customers anyways do, Porsche intends to offer all their cars with a lot of standard features. And hence, the baby Macan gets a comprehensive list of features as standard, such as the bi-xenon headlamps with a lighting package, a 3-zone climate control, and an electronically operated tailgate, amongst many others. Now what we have with us today is the Macan S Diesel, and it's not just the platform that it shares with the Audi Q5, it also borrows a 3-litre turbocharged diesel engine from Ingolstadt. And since this is Porsche that we are talking about, they had to go and make it even more powerful. So on the Macan S Diesel, it makes about 13 more horsepower, which also means that it is faster than the best performing Audi Q5 by about 0.2 of a second to 100. Now the other mandate that the Macan had to live up to is being a luxurious SUV. Now of course, the build quality and finishing are immaculate as you'd expect from any Porsche. But the real sense of luxury comes from the fact that I could hardly tell that I'm driving a diesel car until, well, I glanced upon the modest 5,200 RPM red line, that is. And I'll tell you what, it doesn't drive like a diesel either. I mean, there's no lag and boost. There's just a linear surge of tractable power. I think Porsche have done a fabulous job in insulating this cabin, but they've done an even better job in taking this engine from the Q5 and making it even more refined and driver-friendly. Now it's not for nothing that Porsche calls the Macan a sports car amongst SUVs. The Macan S Diesel races to 100 from a standstill in a claimed 6.3 seconds. Now the Cayenne with the same engine will do 100 in about 7.6 seconds. That's predominantly because of the fact that the Macan S does weigh about 200 kilograms lighter than the Cayenne. But then you go ahead and compare it with, say, the Cayman S, which weighs about 500 kilograms lighter than the Macan and is, well, a sports car. And you realize that it's only about 0.6 of a second slower than the Cayman. Now if that isn't sports car like performance, well, what is? Oh, but wait, don't start drooling just yet because it gets better. Way better. Porsche likes India, and that's why you will also be able to get your hands on the Macan Turbo. And here's where things start to go bonkers. The Macan Turbo gets a 3.6 litre twin turbo petrol engine that makes about 400 brake horsepower. Now that will do a 0 to 100 in a ridiculous 4.8 seconds. 4.6 seconds with the Sports Chrono package. You can wave goodbye as you drive past the Cayman and the Boxster, even in their GTS versions in a drag race. Heck, the Macan Turbo, an SUV, will match the performance of a base 911 Carrera. Now you can drool all you want. The Macan brings the most powerful range of engines in this segment of compact SUVs, and ensuring that this power is transmitted in the best possible way is Porsche's proven PDK twin-clutch gearbox that's offered as standard kit, unlike the Cayenne, which gets a Tiptronic one. Now we keep saying it on Overdrive, the PDK is our favorite gearbox at the moment, and that's also what really gives the Macan its performance. It's lightning quick and incredibly responsive. You know, telepathy kind of stuff. This entire day of driving the Macan, I haven't touched the paddle shifters even once, and usually they're my favorite toy. And before you can say Porsche Doppelkupplung, it's already shifted thrice. Now usually you wouldn't associate great fuel economy with dual clutch gearboxes, like say you would with CVTs or AMTs. But then Porsche are bent on defying norms. So imagine a car that's as performance oriented as the Macan, shelling out a claimed fuel economy figure of 16 kilometers to the litre. Yup, that is the Macan S diesel. Since Porsche intended to make the Macan more like a sports car, it's no surprise that they've borrowed the electromechanical steering directly from the 911. They've also thrown in Porsche's brilliant traction management system as standard, along with the rear-biased all-wheel drive system and dynamic tricks like the automatic brake differential and anti-slip regulation. Now the performance and all is great, there's no doubt about it. But is it the defining characteristic of the Macan? No, because I think the best thing about the Macan is the way it handles. Now there's no way of telling that this is a 1.8 ton SUV. Well, you do feel a little bit of weight under braking, but it changes direction with the agility and finesse of a jungle cat. And that's where it gets its name from. The Macan in Indonesian literally means a tiger. So it's sports car-like, which should mean that its ride quality should feel like you're riding a horse without a saddle, right? Well, not if Porsche's active suspension management system can help it. The Macan is the only compact luxury SUV that can boast of an air suspension setup with ride height adjustment. Now the performance is great and all, and it's a delicious handler, but there is one thing that tells me that I'm not driving a sports car, and it's this. I just went over a speed breaker and another one at about 50 kilometers an hour. Just sped over it without a bother in this world. Now, would I have done it with any sports car? Not a chance. It's established then, the Macan is the best handling SUV on the roads without a doubt. But what when the tarmac ends? Well, a little button that comes as standard and reads off-road lends the Macan mountain climbing powers. So then, is there really anything that the Macan can't do? Well, I'll tell you what else Porsche have done with the Macan is that they have us completely stumped with the price. The fact that Porsche no longer offer a base stripped variant means that the cheapest Macan you can buy will cost you 98 lakhs and some, plus taxes for the Macan S diesel. So you'd be left dejected if you had hoped for an affordable Porsche SUV. Instead, what Porsche have given enthusiasts in India and the rest of the world is the near-perfect bipolar blend between an SUV and a sports car. But here's a ray of sunshine. For just 11 lakh rupees more, you could get the Macan Turbo instead, which I think is all the car that anyone could possibly ever need.